By the power of Grayskull!
Greetings, travelers. I'm your host, the C-Dot that knows a lot, Dr. Waluigi. As we come to the end of the He-Man Retrospective, I figured that the last video I should be talking about are my favorite He-Man and Shira characters from every series. There aren't going to be any rules on how I rank each character, as I think they all stand on their own, and having to judge over 20 characters was hard enough as it is. And just remember that these are my opinions. If you have a different ranking, say so in the comments and see if anybody else agrees with you. So without further ado, here are my top 20 favorite He-Man and Shira characters.
By the power of Grayskull!
Number 20. Stinkor from the 2002 reboot. One of the least liked villains from the original series, Stinkor's whole gimmick was that he smelled bad and used his terrible smell to fight off against the Masters. This led to many people, including the heads of Filmation, seeing him as a walking fart joke and never planned to create him for the original series. But surprisingly, in the 2002 series, the writers gave him a chance to be a developed character that does stand out from being a one-note joke and almost makes him a threat when he uses his powers. Unfortunately, he's only number 20 because this is the only time where he stands out aside from his cameo appearance in Revelation, which just turns him back into the joke character that his toy was.
By the power of Grayskull!
Number 19. Mechanek from the original and 2002 series. One of the lesser known and least liked of the Masters is Mechanek. His most unique feature is that he has an extendable neck which he uses to help him scout out any invading forces from Skeletor. While he doesn't really stand out from the other Masters, he does have two standout episodes that I like. One from the original series called Search for a Son, where He-Man and Mechanek search for his long-lost son, and from the 2002 reboot Mechanek's Lament, where Mechanek feels inferior to the other Masters, which ends up having him go through a series of trials to help stop an evil sorcerer's return. Both episodes do show off what I like about this character, as the original series showed his loyalty and honor, and the 2002 reboot acknowledging the fact that he may be a character that doesn't stand out, but that doesn't mean he's a useless character. I find that Mechanek is a good example of a character that may not be popular with a lot of fans, but if you give him to the right person, they can create a well-developed character.
By the power of Grayskull!
Number 18. Perfuma from the original series. I didn't go over many of the other characters from the original Shira series, mostly because I didn't find them worth talking about. But one character that made me laugh my ass off is the original version of Perfuma. This character was only in one episode called Flowers for Hordak, but it's the one that had the best comedic moments in it. The Horde ends up capturing Perfuma, forcing Adora and the Rebellion to come and save her, but by the time they get there, Hordak is begging the rebels to take her away because she can't stop creating flowers in the Horde base. While some would say the remake of Perfuma is better because she is a little stronger and does have better moments in the reboot, but in my opinion, nothing will top her and her best comedic moment from the original series.
By the power of Grayskull!
Number 17. Scareglow from Revelation. When it comes to the characters from Revelation, a lot of them got the short end of the stick. The characters vary from being unlikable pricks to having the potential of being interesting, only to be killed off later in the show. Scareglow is fortunately one of those characters that was interesting enough to stand out from the other characters and has more than just one cool moment. I like how they essentially took a character whose backstory was that of an interdimensional demon that created the fears of his enemies, to making him the equivalent of the Devil of Eternia. It also helps that legendary character actor Tony Todd voiced him, making the character's dialogue stand out by being so creepy and sinister. I just wish that more of the characters were like him instead of the crap we got from the rest of the show.
By the power of Grayskull!
Number 16. Sortek from the 2002 reboot. Sortek was a character that only appeared in one episode of the first reboot, but it's one that I remember watching a lot as a kid. Sortek is an old inventor who tried to help the past of Eternia by creating weapons and other mechanical inventions. But the people were too greedy and power-hungry and ended up using Sortek's weapons to destroy each other. In the present, he deactivates all machines across Eternia and forces He-Man and Skeletor to help him repair the only thing keeping him alive. He's an interesting character that does lead to the expanded lore of Eternia, which does explain why Eternia isn't as advanced compared to other series that would have just said that it takes place when vehicles were just being invented. It's a great episode, and this is a character that I liked because he's so relatable in not trusting anyone from his previous dealings with Eternians, but is willing to change after He-Man shows him genuine kindness and learns that people can change.
By the power of Grayskull.
Number 15. Cringer from the 2021 reboot. This was an improved and more tolerable version of Cringer than the original. While I enjoy Cringer from the original series just fine, he does get a little annoying after a few episodes, which is mostly due to his voice. So when I saw that they got David Kaye, an actor who's known for doing both a sinister and snobbish voice like Beast Wars Megatron, pulls off a kind and wise mentor voice for this version of Cringer. Which is something that I liked, as they made him a father figure to Adam and took away his more comedic moments as well as his whiny and complaining voice.
By the power of Grayskull.
Number 14. Merman from the 2002 reboot. Much like how I prefer the 2021 version of Cringer, I prefer this version of Merman because of the voice. Scott McNeil was a great choice and blows the original out of the water. No pun intended. While the original is just fine, I did like the fact that they did explore more with the character and gave him a few more interesting moments than the original, who had only one episode where he stood out. The 2002 series gave us more interesting episodes that did more than the original series, and while Scott is just using a more water-based version of his Waspinator voice, he still made this character more memorable than the original.
By the power of Grayskull.
Number 13. Frosta from the original series. When it comes to the other princess characters from the original series, a lot of them don't really stand out that much. Some of them were either only given 1 or 2 episodes to stand out, or were background characters that didn't do much. In the case of Frosta, she was in a total of 8 episodes, and she was one of the more useful characters. What I liked about her the most was her design, as well as being another character that got a really funny episode. In the episode Sweet Bee's Home, Shira and He-Man are trying to help some explorers fight off the Horde with the help of Frosta, who is constantly hitting on He-Man. The episode is really entertaining with some great action, and the character moments between He-Man and Frosta is just hilarious. Which is a shame that the reboot made her the immature kid that became a ruler trope.
By the power of Grayskull.
Number 12. Cowell from the original series. Cowell, in my opinion, was the best side character from Shira, as he had the best reactions to all the things happening around him. Him and Broom had the best snarky moments in the original, and they were the highlight of the episodes they were in. I also like that the writers gave Cowell a dark episode called Zoo Story, where he protects a female version of his species that was captured and sent to a zoo, which showed him as more than a snarky coward, and did give the original series a little bit more of an edge when it came to the side characters. He was just the right balance of snark, as well as having one of the best designs of the original series. Which is a shame that the reboot decided to cut him out and make him a stupid stuffed toy. No, I'm not bitter at all!
By the power of Grayskull.
Number 11. Shira from the original series. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Adora from the original series was one of the best female characters in the He-Man universe. I like how we got to see a main character start out as a villain and have her grow and learn to be a better hero. I found her to be more charming and had just as much snark like her brother does, if not more. While I do think that the reboot tried to improve the character a little bit, I do feel like the original version of Shira was just more likable and was written to be a regular person, rather than the reboot, which tried to make her a more realistic character. But I found that it didn't work for me, as it just felt like the writers were trying to copy what was popular at the time, which were similar characters like Korra or Steven Universe. But that's just my opinion.